Hello everyone, this is Rosh from She Rewrites. Today I'm doing my May budget for you. May is a pretty exciting month. I have a lot going on. I have a lot of shifts at my part-time job. I did lose my full-time job, so a lot of my income this month will be from severance pay and also from unemployment. So let's get to it. So this is my budget spreadsheet. I've been using this for years. I made it myself. And I'm going to take you through kind of what I'm doing, what I'm planning, all of that. So let's start at the top with this section here. That's income. From unemployment, I'm assuming because I get severance, I will get somewhere around $500 to maybe less than that. I should get about $1,000 every 2 weeks. But because I'm getting severance and termination and vacation pay as a payout, that'll probably affect when my EI actually starts. So we're going to assume 500, it might be less. So I want to make sure I have at least a $500 buffer for myself in terms of how I'm planning all of this. My part-time job, let me check my phone. From my part-time job, I will get $89.25 on the first payday plus $646 on the second payday, which will be at the end of May. So that brings us to about $735. I don't like decimals, so we're just going to take that quarter out. Benefits, the only benefit I will be getting is a child tax benefit. That is $442 a month for 2 children. And then other, this is where the severance and the other termination stuff comes into play. I say termination pay, that's just what it's named in my contract. It's not like termination pay, but like that's what it's called in my contract. So that number comes to, we're going to say $5,000. It's probably going to be a little more, a little less, just depending on what. If nothing comes out for taxes, then that's fine. I will just make up the difference that I would owe in taxes by contributing to my RRSP so that I don't have a tax bill owing at the end of the year. But my suspicion is this is going to be a very low earning year for me, so it may not make that big of a difference. Anyways, so my estimated total is $6,677. Now that seems like a high number, but there's a lot of stuff that I have to deal with. Now, my expenses are pretty low, which is over here in this must-pay section. So my rent, I do live with my parents. My kids and I live with my parents right now. So that comes to $500 a month until I get a new job, and then it'll go up to $1,000. They're just giving me a little bit of break on the rent because I don't have a job. So, you know, there's 3 adults in this house. We split things. It works out. Groceries, again, my parents generally buy all the groceries. They're very particular about what they eat. And so for me, I put in about 100, maybe 150 a month. So actually, let's call this one 50. And that way, that kind of just covers additional things that I want, stuff for the kids, that kind of thing. Our phones, so now both of my kids are of an age where they have cell phones. So that is, they're on a very low-priced plan through Fizz Mobile. There's a referral code in my description if you're interested. But their plans are like $12 to $18 each. My phone plan is $25 a month, and it's through Shaw. So I'm just going to say for all 3 of our phones, it's about $60. My bus pass is $126. I no longer have a vehicle or a valid driver's license, so I take transit. I just find it easier to manage for myself. If I do need to use a car to get somewhere that isn't transit accessible, I will often use Uber or Lyft. Right now I'm using Lyft because I get cash back on my Neo card. But given that I'm currently not working and don't really have anywhere to be except for my part-time job, I will generally just use transit even if it's going to take a bit longer. Then we have minimum payments for my credit cards. So RBC Visa, that is kind of my biggest outstanding credit card at $10,900. It's also my oldest credit card. The minimum payment for that is, I want to say $239. We're just going to round it to $250. Scotiabank is another credit card that I have. That one is, to make a long story short, that one was a shared card between me and my late partner. He agreed to pay it off, and then he died. So it's now completely my responsibility. His estate refuses to help with it. They say it's not their responsibility. So that one has $1,700 still owing on it. It is next in my debt snowball once I'm earning some more money and trying to get back to that. But right now, because I'm just making, not a lot, or won't be making a lot, we're just paying minimums on this stuff. So Scotiabank, the minimum on that is $50. And then I do have a student line of credit that was supposed to be used for my master's degree, but was not. It was used for living expenses when I lived with my late partner. So again, that's another one that I will have to focus on because I do need to finish my master's degree by next year. So right now, that one, because it's a line of credit, do you guys hear the birds? They're very talkative. Sorry about that. Anyways, so I do need to work on the line of credit. Right now, it's interest only. The interest rate is 8.5%, and the payment on it just covers the interest. So it's $175 for that. And then we're going to toss in another category here called Other. That's for all the random miscellaneous stuff that I have completely forgotten about. And we're going to call that $150. So all in, the bare minimum stuff that I need to pay for is about $1,400 a month. And if we take out this settlement here, that totals to $1,677, just those three. So if all else fails, I can at least cover all of my bare minimums. Now, variable. Oh, actually, now we have $5,216 left right now of what is in my, what will be in my bank account in May. Of that, we're going to go to variable here. Now, I used to split out my variable spending for personal and, eating out and all of that. And I found that I couldn't keep track of it. I would borrow from different funds and money would disappear and I didn't know what I was doing. So instead, all I do is I transfer a lump sum over to my Neo spending account, and this is my kind of day-to-day card, okay? So I use that for any discretionary spending. So if I want to go meet a friend for coffee, if I'm taking an Uber somewhere, if I'm going out to eat, if I'm buying tickets for book club or going to book club, or I need to buy a book for book club. I really like my book club. Or anything like that. So what I was doing before I lost my job is that I would give myself $100 from each full-time check, $50 from each part-time check, and then another $50 from my benefit, my child tax benefit. I don't have a job anymore, so right now I'm going to give myself $400 for the month of May, and that's just going to come out all at once sometime this week. But after that, I'm going to kind of change how much I give myself as spending money. And the goal of this account is I want one bank account, my main bank account where all my money goes into and all my bills are paid from, savings come out of, investments come out of. I want that to be one account that I don't really think about, that I don't carry the card for, it's just my command center. And then this Neo spending account, this Neo debit account, is the one that I do my day-to-day spending on, just so that I can keep track of my own money, because I was finding that I was going through money so quickly. As soon as I saw a number in my account, I thought, oh, I have money for that. Cool. I'm just going to go ahead and use it. And then it was just not good. I was running out of money, I was coming up short on bills, and I didn't like that. So I've made this change, and it seems to be helping. I've been doing it for a few months now, and it's really, really doing well. Okay. So after $400 into my personal spending, that leaves us with $4,816 left. Now, with that, we are going to pay off my Neo credit card, which is $980. We're gonna eliminate it completely. because it's not in this list and I want it gone. Okay, we're doing the snowball method here, so we want to get rid of that. That's gone. That'll be completely eliminated. I don't never need to worry about it again. That leaves me $3,836 for everything else. So let's see here. We're going to go down to our sinking funds and savings. Now, emergency fund. I currently don't have one. Money's been tight for a long time, and I just, even though my rent has been low with my parents, I have been trying to catch up on outstanding credit card bills and things like that from when I lived with my late partner, and that has taken up a lot of my money. So my emergency fund doesn't exist, which means we're going to give ourselves $2,000 from this payments that I'm getting, this severance pay, and that is going to be the basis of my emergency fund. Now, we're also going to put $100 a month into my kids' RESPs. I have been doing that since they were born, and now it is getting to the point where, like, they will be well set for university by the time they turn 18. My son will be 18 in 6 years, and I've been putting $50 a month into his RESP and $50 into his sister's RESP for years. They're doing great. So that's not my money, that's their money, unless they choose not to use it. RRSP, that is my Registered Retirement Savings Plan. I did have one through work, so I wasn't contributing a lot to my personal account. Now that I no longer have one from work, I will start contributing more because it counts against my taxable income at the end of the year, so it reduces the amount of taxes I need to pay. But for now, we're just going to put $50 into that. We are also going to just put $50 into my tax-free savings account. Between the RRSP, the TFSA, and the FHSA, which is the First Home Savers account, I'm saving up for a home down payment. And so that's why, even though I currently don't have a job, I'm still putting money into this because I think it's really, really important for me to do that. It's important to keep up the habit of saving, and I can tell you that even saving tiny little amounts every single day or every single month or whatever, it does add up, because I've been saving somewhere, I started with like $25 a week, no, $25 a month, and now my investments accounts are over $11,000. Now that does, like, I do have it set up so all of my investments kind of roll back into each other. I don't take anything out, but slow and steady, you know, like, I'm getting there. You don't need a lot of money to invest, but it's important to get started. I started really late. It's going to take me a while to catch up with where I should be, but I will get there. I have faith. Okay, so back to where we were, TFSA. Now, travel. You might say, why are you saving money for travel when you don't have a job? You would be right to question that. However, I do have a pre-planned trip to Toronto next month in June, so I will need to keep some money aside for that. I've paid for the plane ticket, but I still have, like, the accommodations I need to pay for 3 days, transportation from the airport and back, as well as within Toronto, although I don't think there'll be too much of that, food and drink, and then I do want to see at least one museum, and then I will also be seeing some family. So we're going to put this down as like $650. That's probably too high. I'd rather have too much than too little. And then the buffer, we'll come back to that. I'm going to do that one last because we're going to go down to subscriptions first. So I have $986 left now after I've put all of that through, and actually maybe we're going to change this to $500 for now. I can always add more in June once things bump back up. So $2,700 is the total for sinking funds and savings. Not going to be a normal amount for this. This is a one-time bump up to my emergency fund. After that, this is going to be a significantly lower amount. But that means I have $1,136 left to allocate. And the last thing here is nice to have. So in here, I just have subscriptions, and while I could list them all out and, you know, talk about them and all of that, I'm not going to do that because I just like to bundle them together. They're kind of a floating amount in my account, and they come out throughout the month. I'm not granular enough right now that I need to know exactly which week they're coming out in, since I do have a buffer in my bank account to absorb that. So we're going to say that my subscriptions come to about $150 a month. Now, maybe that's right, maybe it's not. I don't know, because I don't track it that closely right now. I do know I have like some monthly subscriptions and then a couple annual ones that have already come out, like my Amazon Prime, my Disney Plus, my Google One. I think Headspace is in May as well. That's like $90. And then there's a bunch of other ones like Spotify, and my Float membership for health and wellness. So there are a few ones that just come out here and there, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Now that we know what the subscriptions are, we're going to go back up to the buffer, and we see this leftover amount here of $986. That is what's going to go into the buffer. So the buffer is what stays in my bank account as a floor. I aim for that to be about $500 to $1,000, and it just stays in there. It just tells me, like, hey, you've got this money here. It's to absorb timing issues between paychecks, or, you know, something costs a little bit more, or maybe I need to take my kids to the dentist and I need to pay out of pocket before I get reimbursed, or, you know, like, there's lots of things that I need to do that sometimes I don't want to pull from my emergency fund, so having a buffer is the ideal way of doing that. So, now that I've gone through all of that, we have a leftover of $0. Hooray. We have allocated all of our income to all of our expenses, and the amount left is $0. That's what I like to see. $0 is a good amount because it means that A, I haven't over budgeted anywhere, and B, every single dollar that is coming in currently is accounted for. So that is my budget for May. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful to you. I am planning on getting back to posting a monthly budget and then maybe doing some cash stuffing as well in the future. Just need to see if I can get over to the bank. But yeah, if you like this, please hit that like button, leave a comment, tell me what you think, give me your feedback. It's kind of nice to be making videos again. I'm glad to be back. And I hope that you have a great day. Bye.